Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of my F1 2019 career mode here today for round 10 for the British Grand Prix. If you guys missed the last episode, watch it by clicking the card in the top right hand corner of your screen for the Austrian Grand Prix, guys. Also, yesterday was my 1,000th all-time YouTube video, so if you want to go check that video out, guys, it was a 100% race around Monaco in cockpit view using the pre-season testing skin in the Red Bull. Then go check it out by clicking the card also in the top right hand corner of your screen, guys. But as you saw a moment ago on screen, we have a chance of rain this weekend in the race, and it's going to be very, very wet on Sunday. In terms of upgrades, we've got an engine power upgrade for this race. That's two upgrades now, back-to-back weekends for us, as we had a minor chassis one in the last episode, and we've got a couple of big ones on the way as well. We've got an ultimate aero upgrade on the way for Hungary, and then we're going to try and add some upgrades for Germany in this episode. But yeah, guys, you can see the R&D graph on screen. Renault taking a big step forward this weekend, and yeah, we're going to jump into practice. You can see on screen right now, we had a pretty good weekend. The car was working good. Silverstone's probably the track on the calendar where I'd say the AI are the weakest this year in this year's game, so I'm actually using 108% AI around here, which is what I used last season, and it seems to be about the right balance for me, and it gives me the right amount of competition. So yeah, overall practice was good, and the car was working fantastically well, and the practice programs kind of proved that, you know, that the car was underneath me, and we scored a very decent amount of R&D points. And after practice I was happy with the car, the setup was good, and I felt confident going into qualifying that we could deliver and get a good result. Last season we struggled here a little bit, you know, I struggled in the sense that we had good pace. I felt comfortable, but obviously the Ferrari wasn't quite there. But overall, the race worked out okay last season, and we had a lot of success here. So I'm hoping that on Sunday as well, we can kind of have a good weekend. And the wet weather race is going to make things very interesting. I think that could really throw a spanner in the works. Preferably, I'd like it to be a dry weekend around here with these cars in the dry. It's a fantastic circuit. It's really good fun, and the car just feels fantastic right now when you've got it all hooked up in the dry. So at least we're going to get that kind of qualifying experience, because qualifying around here with low fuel on the soft tyres is another level. So yeah, let's jump into qualifying. Let's see how we get on. As you see there, Carlos Sainz in his McLaren, and yeah, we're going to move to Q1 and we're going to see how we get on. First of all, of course, just to point out, the race, like I said, is going to be the wet, so therefore we haven't got to worry about tyres in Q2 and tyre wear. So here we are in Q1, and this was my one and only lap in this Q1 session, because it was easily good enough to get us through into Q2. Straight away, sector 1 you saw there, just a little bit down on Charles Leclerc, and then sector 2 as well, I was really strong. All weekend long I was really quick through the fast corners, and we're actually 2 tenths up almost on the Haas driver as we go through sector 2. And now the final sector is actually my worst one, where I lost a lot of time, because I think the final chicane, putting the traction down, going through the final corner, I struggle with compared to the AI. They're really good at getting the traction down and going full speed, and it takes me a little while to go full throttle out the final corner. And I think that's where the AI make up a lot of time. As you can see now, crossing the line, we actually dropped 2 tenths in the final sector, and we go P2, just a fraction off Charles Leclerc there, but nonetheless we go through to Q2, in the end P6, Sebastian Vettel P3, as the AI did improve after in the session as they went back out and did faster lap times, and yeah, we was happy with our original lap time. But now in Q2 we're going to go out for another run. Again, this was my one and only lap in this session. It was a very good lap, so let's stay on board for the entirety of it. Straight away, turn 1, flat out, of course, very easy through here, and then turn 2, of course, also easy flat. Turn 3, brake just before the 50-meter board, and try and pick up the apex, get the power as soon as you can, and then bring it to the right-hand side, and then back across to the left for the apex of turn 4, and then briefly on the power as we go through the flat-out kink of 5 and onto the Wellington straight, using some overtake to really maximise the speed on the back-end straight. As we now go in towards Brooklands here, really important to pick up a late apex to open up the line as we now go into Luffield, down a couple of gears once again. Short shift to 4th to really maximise your traction, and also use the curve on the left. Really let the car run wide as much as you can through there to really straight line the exit and get your power down as soon as possible. Now into Copse Corner, the old turn 1, turning at the 50-meter board as a reference, flat out in 8th gear pretty much on soft tyres, and the car's working fantastically well as we now go into Maggots here, flat out through the first 2, then down a gear for Beckett, and then down another gear for the next right hand as we now go through Chapel and onto the hangar straight. DRS open once again, and using a little bit of overtake ERS mode as we are a tenth and a half up on Lucas Faber as we now go down towards Stowe. And this one again, it's about picking up a bit of a late apex really, and turning in at the last moment and really focus on your exit going down the hill, down towards the Vale chicane, braking as the DRS detection line appears, or that white line across the track, whatever it may be, and then smooth on the power out of the chicane, going through the final corner and across the line. Once again, we dropped 2 tenths in the final sector, and we finished just a fraction off Lucas Weber there. But once again, P2 pretty much a carbon copy of Q1. This time though, we get the edge on Sebastian Vettel as we go through in P5, and the top 3 teams, kind of as you'd expect. Mercedes actually struggling for pace a little bit around here, to be fair, and yeah, they just don't really seem to get that car to work around here. Now in Q3, this was my first of 2 runs in the session, and it was a pretty okay lap, not spectacular. There was a couple of mistakes, and my runs in Q1 and Q2 were a lot better than this. As you can see there, 25-1. Not the best lap. I think for pole, you're looking at like a mid-24, so we're going to have to really pull something out of the bag here, and this final lap was something special. So here we go, on board then for the final lap in Q3. 1 minute to go, flat out through 1 and flat out through 2. Now you're looking for the 50-meter board as a reference. Brake just before it, once again, tap the inside curb, and then smooth on the power as we go right, and then back to the left for turn 4. Just missing the apex slightly there, but a good exit. But then we get a little bit too much oversteer there. Luckily enough, somehow on the delta we didn't lose too much time, so we got away with a bit of a mistake there. But there's definitely about a tenth of a second we left on the table in the first sector as we now go towards Brooklands again, picking up that late apex, smooth on the power, and then back over to the right for Luffield again. Short shift to fourth, get the power down as soon as you dare, and use the curb on the left to maximise your traction and exit speed. Flat out through Woodcote, and now Stowe Corner, all about lining it up and turning at the 50-meter board once again. 8th gear this time, a lot better, much more aggressive on the curb, and full commitment as we go down towards Maggots here. Flat out once again through the first 2, down a gear for the second, and then down another gear. And actually, I went down to 5th for a change to get a bit more rotation through the right-hander, and then flat out through Chapel. And what a fantastic second sector that was. And we're 2.5 tenths up on Lewis Hamilton as we now go in towards Stowe Corner, down 3 gears once again, focusing on your exit as we get the power down. And now we've got the final chicane to go here. Braking as the curve appears on the right hand side, down to 2nd gear briefly to pick up the rotation, attacking that inside curve through the right and smoothly on the power. And what a lap this has been, across the line, a much better lap than before, but ultimately not quite enough. We actually went P2 as we crossed the line, but then the qualifying time glitch kicked in a little bit, and the AI set a bit of a ridiculous time, and yeah, we dropped under P5. So overall, not too shabby. Really, really happy with the lap. You know, we couldn't get anywhere near below our 125 all weekend long, and yeah, that was a really good lap. You know, my quickest lap up until that point was like a 25.6, whatever it was. So overall, a decent lap, a decent qualifying. We out-qualified Sebastian Vettel, who really struggled in Q3, and Lucas Weber and Lewis Hamilton lead the front row in both of the Red Bulls. With that being said, that's it for qualifying. It's now time for the British Grand Prix.
We're right back where it all began. The very first World Championship Grand Prix was held here at Silverstone in 1950, with Giuseppe Farina taking the top step of an all-Alfa Romeo podium. He earned 9 championship points that day on his way to the inaugural title. His winning total at the season's end, just 30 points. My, how times have changed. So let's see who can reach the top step of the modern podium today. Silverstone circuit then. It's 3.6 miles long and has a total of 18 corners. And of course, is no stranger to the rain. There won't be any DRS available in these conditions, but the Wellington and Hangar Straights are still good opportunities to tuck into the slipstream and make a pass. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Martinez. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Great work from Lucas Weber yesterday sees him start from pole, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Magnussen, Martinez and Butler, Gasly, Vettel, Perez and Daniel Ricciardo, Sainz, Norris, Valtteri Bottas and Verstappen, Raikkonen, Russell, Antonio Giovinazzi and Lance Stroll, Albon and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Right, so here we are then on the grid for the British Grand Prix, my home race, and of course, typical British summer weather, we have some lovely, lovely rain. It's going to make things quite interesting. I'm not really sure how the AI are around here. I've kept it on 108 difficulty for the race, and in terms of strategy, it's quite straightforward. We're going to run the wet tyres pretty much the entire race, and I'm guessing we just got to wait for the switch to inters. That's going to happen at some point. It could happen really early or quite late on in the race. You just don't know. The other thing I have done is fuel. I've actually dropped it all the way down to the lowest because originally I had 25.8 laps of fuel. I've dropped it all the way down to the lowest it could possibly be. So a very light car. Hopefully that will help us out in the initial phase of the race and give us the edge. And also, one more change I've made as well, I'll point this out now. In the setup, I've actually changed the front wing. I've actually reduced it by 1. So I had 6.6 in qualifying. I'm now going 5.6 to give me a little bit more front end grip. I know that makes no sense because I'm reducing the front wing, but what I mean by that is I'll have more stability at the rear. And by having a more stable rear, I can commit the front end more into certain corners instead of having to try and control the rear end slipping out in the wet. So hopefully that made sense. Either way, we're starting from P5. Hopefully we can have a good race, and the wet is going to give us the opportunity to try and get a good result here today around a track that we shouldn't really be scoring anywhere near a podium. So with that being said, let's jump into it. It's time for round 10 for the British Grand Prix. Let's do this. Right, here we go. Let's build up the revs into the optimal range. 5 lights are on. Lights out, and away we go here at Silverstone. A little bit of wheel spin there, but a pretty decent start to be fair to say. It's in the wet. Into turn 1, Magnussen slow, so is Leclerc. We're going to find the grip around the outside. On the brakes, big front right lockup. We almost take out Weber in the process. Leclerc's hanging it around the outside. He goes down the inside of Weber, absolutely sends one. Up to P4, good start from us. Lewis, of course, the home hero as well, leading the way in the Red Bull. Really good start from us though. Really happy that Leclerc and Weber up our side here. Let's see if we can try and get involved. Big lock up from me. That's going to send me wide. That's going to invite Magnussen down the inside for pressure. We're going to force him out wide though through Luffield. Weber and Leclerc still side by side here, but eventually Leclerc just gets in front. Lewis already getting a big gap out front in the Red Bull. But a good start from us in P4, having to adapt to the conditions. The car feels good actually.
Nice start.
The setup changes feel good. I'm running 2 on the ride height on the front and 4 on the rear. Combine that with a 5.6 aero, and you've got a very negative setup in the sense that in the dry it wouldn't feel that great, but in the wet it gives you a lot of stability, so you can really push. Good stuff. Really good lap 1 so far. We've got Magnussen behind. He's going to try and press me down towards Stowe, but he hasn't got DRS, so we should be okay. So overall, a decent opening lap to the race. Let's see if we have pace to compete here today. Of course, the AI aren't as easy to beat now in the wet as they once were, so I'm curious to see how quick they are around here. A little bit annoying, this circuit is very traction reliant, so that's something that AI are very good at, getting traction out of corners, which is something I'm not good at. So the good news is we've got very good straight line speed, so Magnussen's going to find it quite hard to get anywhere near me on the straight, especially where there's no DRS in the wet race, so that's good news for us. It's a good omen. Weber's not got great pace, so we're starting to make some progress. We're starting to catch him as Leclerc pulls away, so let's see if we can try and line up Weber for an overtake here. Going through Maggots and Beckett's, and now onto Chapel, onto the hangar straight. Magnussen is putting the pressure on, I can't lie, he's pretty quick. Lewis setting the pace, 42.3.
Okay, you're in the top 10.
Magnussen's looking for a move here into turn 1. Very rash. We're going to give him the room and hold around the outside. Again, that's just purely down to I can't match the AI for traction out the final corner because it's kind of like it's not a clean traction zone, it's kind of on a bend and you're constantly trying to find the traction, which is where my weakness is at. Same as this one here, it's on a constant bend, so I can't really ever get the power down, whereas the AI get it down very easily. So Magnussen's going to come at me again here. Annoying because I'm actually quite good for pace. I feel confident in the car. Brake bias is not working. I tried 54, but that's not really working, so I'm going to go down to 50 spot after 56 again. This is so annoying because I've got good pace, I'm quick through the corners, but I can't get no traction down compared to the AI, and it's so infuriating.
Is 2.1 seconds.
Magnussen again into turn 1, a place where you wouldn't normally pass, but we're going to hold around the outside again and keep him behind. But again, here we go into another traction zone, and this is where I get just left behind. It's so annoying, I can't do nothing about it. regardless of how perfect I get traction, with traction control off, the AI are going to be so much better than me. See, that was pretty much perfect, but Magnussen's right there. He's going to probably challenge me into Brooklands. No, not this time. Looks like he's going to back off. Finally, I can have a little bit of a breathing room. Personal best. Magnussen's trying still to get past. I've had a couple of laps where he's left me alone and my pace has picked up, and we're catching up to Weber again, and also the pack is starting to stretch behind, but not by much. Just seems like I'm in the wet. There's so much traction zone around here that I can't compete, unfortunately.
Heavy rain to stay a while. Doesn't look like it's moving anytime soon.
I'm a little bit better on traction now because I'm starting to drive a little bit better. But at the same time, Magnussen is still just too strong. I'm just lucky I've got a good straight line speed, to be honest. Okay, I seem to have found the problem as to why my car feels like trash and I'm trying to drive through it. What the hell is that? All my tyres are fried. Every single one. No wonder I've got no pace. And I can't respond either. Like, there's nothing I can change. That's just down to a setup issue. That's ridiculous. Just because I'm out driving the car, I shouldn't be punished with that. Look at that, Lewis is going even faster. Oh man, this is bad.
The energy store is getting warm, reducing our overall capacity. The more charge you hold, the faster that capacity will drop.
Magnussen's really trying to get that inside line through turn 1.
The tyre situation is an interesting one, but I think the right call is to stick with what we've got right now.
There goes Magnussen around the outside. Just tap tyres there. He's going to try and go around the outside. I'm going to put the squeeze on. You can just see though how he just finds grip. It's like it's coded in the way he just walks around the outside. He tries to walk around the outside. But then you look at my tyres, I'm making no mistakes. I'm driving super smooth. Yet my tyres are fried. There's nothing I can do to stop the tyres just cooking. Nothing at all. The rain's definitely eased off in the last couple of laps or so. I do wonder if an intermediate could do the trick. Okay, so cars are pitting in. I wonder what tyre they're going for. Let's have a look. Intermediate on Leclerc. My gut feeling was correct. Magnussen around the outside this time at turn 1. I'm going to give him the room. But we hold it once again. So Leclerc goes for the intermediate. Do I roll the dice? I mean, I'm struggling with these. I think I will. I might be in trouble here on this straight. Magnussen's on me straight away. We're going to pit in though. Show Magnussen the long way around. That'll do. Let's pit in for those inters. Looks like everyone's going to come in. Nope, Magnussen stays out. Sebastian Vettel stays out, which is good. Let's get it all slowed down. There we go. It's a very slow pit lane. It does catch you out. Pierre Gasly follows us in. Inters selected. I've also selected a bit of front wing. I'm going to put a bit of wing on because normally if you put a bit of wing on, it takes a little bit of temperature out the front. So hopefully that will help us. Good stop, boys. Come on, here we go.
Go, go, go. You'll
stuff.
be racing on the exit. Complete. Go now.
2.1, that's the kind of stop we want. Right, intermediates. Time to roll the dice. Let's see if this is the way to go. Looks like it's very 50-50 because the AI also staying out on the wet. So this could go either way, to be honest. Here we go, up to speed.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
There's Sergio Perez. He's on inters, so he must have pit a couple of laps ago, and he's undercut us. So here we go then. Let's see. Oh wow, the inter feels far better already. What a difference. Also, just the fact the tyre's not overheating makes a big difference as well. Let's try and get past Perez if we can, because he's on the inter. Perez going for the move now on Albon, and also I think Stroll as well, just in front. He's so much quicker on that intermediate. Lewis setting the pace. Not sure what tyre he's on though. If he's set the lap now, he's probably still in the wets, to be honest. But there goes Perez on Alex Albon. That's contact, a little bit too close for comfort. We're going to go around the outside. Sebastian pits in, Albon's wide.
Let's use some of this energy. Increase the ERS deployment. Sebastian is in the pits.
Getting put onto the grass there by Alex Albon. We're going to go for it though down the inside. Lots more grip on these. Leclerc proving that by setting the purple lap. So Lewis has stayed up for one more lap, which could put him vulnerable. as most cars pit in. This tyre feels so much better. Hopefully it doesn't overheat like the wet and I'll have half a chance this race. Hopefully it goes to the end of the race as well. Right, so clean air.
Up to the car ahead is 5.1 seconds.
There's Seb leaving the pit lane now as we take a big chunk out of turn 1. The amount of grip I had there completely caught me off guard. Look at Weber. Look how much further ahead he is. We've lost a lot of ground to Lucas Weber then. Annoying, but not entirely surprised. We are flying on these. Really strong pace. Much better tyre for me. Purple sectors all over the shop. Leclerc just set the fastest lap with the 39.9. We're going to beat that, I think. Yeah, 39.5. As we've got more cars in the pit lane. And unfortunately, the lap's not going to be official because we did take a big chunk out of turn 1 last lap. So we'll have to try again. Butler's still on the wet tyres, as are a few others. I'm not really sure what the strategies are for those on the wet still, but Leclerc set a 39.5. We're going to beat that, 39.3. So we're the quickest in these conditions as MAGNUSSEN pits in. So that's one of the heavy hitters. And now here we are right behind Butler, about to retake our original P4. So that's where we were before. And then obviously we had the chase after Lucas Weber down the inside of Devon there. So there we go, back where we were now. Lost a little bit of ground to Weber in the pit stop phase, but that's fine. The battle for the podium is on. Magnussen's not behind me anymore, so the pressure's off. And I'm pretty damn quick, so let's go after that Red Bull. I'll smell the podium. Looks like it's me and Leclerc exchanging lap times here. 39.2 from Leclerc now. I had a poor first sector, of course, because I had to get past Devon, but a purple sector too. Let's see what our final sector's like. It felt pretty good. Better than last lap. Keep it tidy through here and take away the fastest lap from him. Not quite. Personal best though. 38.9 from Leclerc. He's going to raise the stakes a bit. This lap is really good for me though. If I nail this final sector, this is going to be a new fastest lap without a doubt. And I won that extra point for the fastest lap. It's the one thing I can chase every race. And the tyres are at the freshest now. Across the line. There we go. 38.7. Returning the favour. Raising the stakes once again. Really starting to fly around here now. And the pace advantage over Weber really starting to show. These inters are suiting me so much more than the wets. And I've come alive in this race all of a sudden. It's amazing what a little bit of front wing in the pit lane and also a different set of tyres can do. And look at this. We're now really putting the pressure on Weber here. Going through cops, almost sideways. We're going to just be patient and wait to the hanger straight. I'm 2 tenths up on my personal best, which is a shame because I could really improve this lap. But we're going to have to just wait and sit behind him through here and wait for the opportunity on the hanger straight. No DRS, so it's important to get a good exit, which we do get. But Weber gets a good exit of his own. Here we go. Overtake mode engaged. Gaining. Weber does not defend. Open invitation down the inside as Leclerc sets a 38.6. Weber hangs around the outside. He gives me a bit of a push off the track there. I've just realised he's got wing damage. I just saw on his front right, which explains his lack of pace and why I'm all over the back of him. Let's try again here. Nice and close at the apex. Smooth on the power. Okay, that'll do. A little bit far back to be fair. I'm going to use some rich mix as well, even though I'm in the negative. But Weber does defend this time. Just going to put him offline a little bit. Knocking on the door here, just trying to find a way through. Through Luffield. If I could just get the traction they do, I'd be past him already. I've got such poor traction compared to the AI. Putting the pressure on here, down towards cops. Weber does not cover the inside again. This time let's try and get down the hanger straight. Let's try and get a lot closer through here. Sebastian's starting to catch up, so I need to get this pass done on this lap. Open up the last one. Get on that power nice and early. Okay, this time we're going to take it. No questions asked.
Leclerc's out in front.
Weber's turned up the engine, to be fair. Full send. Weber giving me the squeeze and a half. Not letting go. Really pushed me into the apex there. I'm quite surprised. He's hanging on though. He's not letting this podium slip away. Oh, damn it. I got such good traction there, but I lost it mid-corner. I've got to try something different. The previous methods were not working. Weber's parking his car very tactically. Very well parked. If I can just get the exit here. Not quite. I just can't not get the traction down. The AI are just far too strong on traction. It's impossible to get better traction than them out of any zone. It's really annoying, it really is. Just pick up a track extension there. Got to be careful now, that's my second warning I think. Come on, this is the one. There, now we're closer. A little bit wide there through the last one. That's not going to help. Come on, come on. Labour again.
Nice work, that brings you up a place.
Trying to turn into me mid-corner, but this time we do get it done. And we are through, just as Sebastian arrives on the scene. So we're past my former teammate, finally. That was a tricky pass to execute. Lewis in P2. With the pass up to his name. I wonder if I've got enough tyres to try and take that away from him. I guess we will find out. Let's give it some. Personal best, we don't quite snatch the fastest lap away from Lewis there. A little bit frustrating. Let's try again. We've got a yellow flag behind. A couple of corners back. Either a Renault or a McLaren, I believe, have had an issue. Lando Norris again for the second race in a row. McLaren having terrible reliability issues at the minute. He retires in his home race, unfortunate one for him. 37.4 from Lewis. The pace is getting quicker and quicker. I'm going to save some fuel in the RS and see if I can have one last go at it. So I'm going to charge everything up as Weber and Sebastian now do battle for P4. That'll be a good result for Seb. He's had a very, very poor run of form lately. Looks like Lewis has made a pass on Leclerc for the lead. So those two must have been battling. It'd be great if there was some fireworks between the two of them for once. It would give me the win on a silver plough. Here we go, last try. Across the line, is it enough? Not quite. A tenth off. Just missed out. My final sector's just not there, man. AI are too strong. Through that final corner. Onto the last lap. I've got one last try at this lap. We're going to give it one last go on this final lap of the race. Let's see how we get on.
This is your final lap of the race.
This is going to be very close. We are up marginally. Come on. Lewis on the last lap. Sets a new benchmark, a 0.3. I've just got to get that traction down for the final corner. That's good. Come on. Easy does it. Across the line. Not quite. Damn it. Not quite.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Rain always has the potential to liven up a race and mix up the order, and they've taken full advantage of that to claim the victory today. It's always a bit of a lottery when the conditions are like this, but they've managed to stay on circuit and have come out on top.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Your team must be ecstatic with how you're performing. How did your team respond to the poor conditions today? You had a close battle today, didn't you? Appreciate your time.
Right, so looking at the final race results, Lewis Hamilton wins here in Silverstone, his home race in the Red Bull racing car. Charles Leclerc P2, 1 second behind, those two battling all race long. And we come home P3, a home race podium, very happy with that after starting from P5. And Sebastian Vettel P4 also, GG's to him, he needed that result, he's had a very poor run of form. And for me and Sebastian, it's a big morale boost to score third and fourth in a car that's not really that quick. And GG's to Lewis Hamilton as well, because we tried really hard to get that purple lap but we couldn't quite get it. Pierre Gasly P5, Lucas Weber P6, Kevin Magnussen P7, and then Perez, Ricciardo and Sainz rounding out the top 10, and Devon Butler only P12. Very poor race from him. And then towards the bottom, Lando Norris retires from the Grand Prix. All in all, 5 British drivers in this race, guys, and 2 of them on the podium. In terms of what the race, though, is going to mean for the championship, Lewis leads 35 points ahead of Lucas Weber. We are 19 points behind Lucas Weber in P3, and 40 points clear of Charles Leclerc. And Sebastian Vettel jumps up to P5, overtaking Devon Butler in that race. In terms of the constructors, we remain in second place, 150 points behind Red Bull, and crucially, Haas is still 55 points behind us, so we've got a nice little gap there, and we're relatively comfortable. Now, with that being said, that is it for Silverstone, and we had an upgrade in this race, an upgrade in the last race. They were both minor, one for the chassis, this one today was for the engine in this race, and then obviously for Hungary, we have an ultimate aero one on the way, but obviously the next race is Germany, so let's add to that, and we've got a big amount of points, I think, to use. So let's burn them and let's see what we can do. Let's jump into the laptop and upgrade this car. Okay, so here we are on the laptop, and I'm going to make a bit of an interesting decision this episode because we've got 2,400 points to spend, and like I said before, we've got the ultimate aero upgrade on the way. Now, the weakest point on our car by quite some way is the chassis. You can see in the engine side of things, even if we have a bad race, or even in the chart, you can see on screen we're pretty much mid-table, but it doesn't mean anything because we're really good for straight line speed, as the race just proved that we can hold on to our own. So the engine can wait, and the aero is going to get the work it needs coming soon, and we should pretty much match Haas and Red Bull for aero. So the chassis needs work. We're full from bottom. Look how far ahead Haas are. We need to catch up. So I'm going to make a decision here, and you see the upgrades, they're very expensive. A minor one is 850 points, so I'm going to make the controversial call, and for the first time this season, we're going to call in a department efficiency upgrade, which will make it 10% cheaper for all future upgrades. That's going to cost 1,000 points, so we're going to get that on. That's an instant improvement, but then we still have 1,400 points to spend, so we can spend those on this upgrade here, which is going to be for the tyre wear, and it would be a major one. I do have my eye on this ultimate one, but it's just I can't afford to wait any longer. I need the upgrade now, so we're going to get it on the car, and that will also arrive in Hungary, and that's going to improve our tyre wear, and that's going to be the end of our point spending. That should hopefully boost us above Williams and McLaren, and yeah, we're going to have an ultimate and major upgrade on the way very soon, and also that upgrade to improve the points and make it a little bit cheaper is going to be a big one going forward in the future. And in theory, in the next couple of races, we should be overtaking Mercedes and Renault very, very soon. Hopefully we can add some more upgrades in the next race after Germany, because we will try and get some more R&D points underneath us, and maybe do a minor one again, work on the chassis. Got to keep pushing that. There is a minor one available there, so we'll work on that. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it for this episode of Career Mode, guys. And if you did enjoy it, then drop a like on the video, and also get subscribed if you are new for daily Formula 1 content, and turn on notifications to not miss a video from me. And also finally check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next episode very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.